Hey, all thingers. Welcome to another episode of All Things with Jules and Bea. It's an early morning for us. I mean, it's not that early. It's maybe like 9 o'clock.
It's early enough.
It's early enough, but we thought we would come on and kind of give you guys a new episode. We're going to be talking about like a nice variety of things today that are kind of influential. We're going to talk on like some energy talk. We're going to do some eclipse talk. We're going to do some transformation talk. So
talks.
I figured we could start off just kind of talking about easy things like our weekends and just kind of transition into what we're going to be talking about. So
yeah, perfect.
If you want to go on with how your energy was over the weekend.
A mess. No, just kidding.
I mean, the energy has been kind of weird. I'm not a fan of it.
Usually you can feel like eclipses you usually feel them like a couple of days before, because you can feel the moon 3 days before and then 3 days after. So this eclipse is tomorrow, Tuesday, the 17th.
Yeah.
So my weekend was emotional.
Yeah.
Because
I was a little moody.
I was a little moody. I had a lot of Venus-y things going on. But I did find $5 on the street.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
That's a nice little surprise.
I thought that was
reward,
a nice
I guess.
surprise. But I mean, I had an overall nice market day.
Yeah.
Not money-wise, but that's okay.
Yeah, market was like really slow. I mean, it was like, I did better than I thought I would do with how slow it was, but it's still, like you felt like kind of like a little bit of a letdown. Yeah. Especially since like the previous weekend we had like a random cancellation and we couldn't really do our things, and I don't know.
There's this sense of like you're going to pump yourself up, like we're going to do good and whatever happens, happens, blah, blah, blah. But then in the back of my mind, because I'm so linear sometimes, I'm like, I want to make this much money.
Well, yeah, like you want that stability. You want to have that stability where like you get used to like a certain pattern coming in. But then again, it's kind of like an ebb and flow sort of thing where like you can't just continuously be like, you know, bring it in, bring it in, bring it in. You got to have like that slowdown time, I guess. But at the same time, yeah, well, you know how I feel about trusting.
There's a trust that you have to have, and that was
it's always meh. Prove to me that I can trust you, and then we'll see.
Let me see what else. Yesterday was a way much better day. I mean,
what was yesterday? Sunday.
Sunday.
Yeah. I'm so tired that it's just like every day is like blending. Yeah, Sunday was a very good day. Like, well, I like went out and had some fun on Saturday. I had like a good night. I had a good night on Saturday, but then Sunday I just kind of like chilled most of the day. I got up later and did some like cleaning and some random things, but it was a nice calm day.
Chillax.
After like stressful week, and
I thought it was very chill for me. Although I was like...
Your week or Sunday?
No, Sunday.
Yeah.
The week, I don't know. The week was like a weird thing.
I feel like the energy's just been like really dragging. Like everything's like super long. Like the weeks seem like they're super long even though they're like...
And that's Piscean energy for you, because it's like, hey, we're at the end of something. Analyze it all, but don't analyze because I'm Pisces.
Go within pretty much about it.
Feel it, love it, let it go, and then be okay, which is what this eclipse is. So... if you don't know what an eclipse is, she's going to tell you because she's better at it.
Am I though?
Yeah, but go ahead.
There's just a lot of like, you don't have any control over eclipse periods. Like basically that's when the universe, in my mind, this is when the universe steps in kind of and says, hey, there's some things that need to transition and take place in your life, and maybe you're not doing those things, or maybe you are doing those things. And regardless of where you're at, the universe kind of steps in and takes control a little bit. It moves things around. Like you might have some big shakeups during eclipse seasons, or you might just have like a nice chill period where there's not too much taking place for you because you've maybe been doing the things that the universe wants you to do. So you kind of get to relax through the eclipse or something. But if you're not, if you're kind of avoiding things, or if you're just like not really on your right path, that's usually when the universe comes in and shakes things up, and there's a lot of change that's just kind of out of your control. And there's things that come in that you're maybe not even expecting, but like that energy is basically coming in and eclipsing and cutting things out that aren't really meant to be there, and it's transitioning you to like a whole new space where you're meant to be. Like your soul is like working towards like whatever destination you're working towards, and maybe your body's like not in cahoots with where your soul's trying to go. So the eclipse comes in and does what it needs to do for you. But
yeah, that's exactly right. So like, if you imagine like a flashlight, a lunar eclipse is like, here's all of the things that you're not really willing to work on.
And I feel like lunar eclipses are usually like more internal things,
Yes,
where like the solar eclipses are more like very material, like
it's
like
very
a
feminine energy
sort of,
is what this lunar eclipse is.
Yeah.
And then this is the third. No, there'll be there'll be 3 eclipses for the next 3 years in a Pisces in September. So, and this is that is crazy. And this particular eclipse will be right around the lunar nodes, which are giving you a taste of what the lunar nodes will be when they change into, I think it's Pisces.
It's going to be Pisces and Virgo.
And Virgo.
Yes.
So.
And Virgo will be South Node, and Pisces will be North Node, which is like really funny because like that starts in January, but like you're saying, it's going to be like a little like snippet of like what's to come kind of energetically with that sort of transition. So right now the nodes have been in Aries and Libra. Libra, I'm pretty sure, is like the South Node right now, right? Yep. So it's kind of interesting because for me it's going to be like my nodal return. So like for a whole year I'm going to be like, I feel like I'm going to be really pushed to step into like whatever destined path I need to be on, like wherever I'm heading, because my North Node's right there in Pisces. So like I feel like I'm like nervous about it. I don't. A lot of me doesn't really know where I'm supposed to be half the time, and I feel like with Pisces energy, you really don't ever have a clear definition of where you're supposed to be or what you're supposed to be doing. You're just kind of surrendering and trusting and letting the universe just sweep you wherever it wants you to go. But I'm like nervous for.
I think
for
too,
year,
like eclipses don't ask you to do anything but surrender. Like you're just really supposed to feel
Pisces
it.
energy specifically, though, really does that.
You're just supposed to feel
surrender.
it and like be aware.
Mm-hmm.
Pisces is very spiritual in general, so and intuitive.
Yes.
Whatever is happening around you during this time, like just pay attention to it. Be like, oh, that's kind of a thing that really is showing up in my life. So for me, a lot of it is like business related. This particular eclipse is exact my Venus, and it is in my 10th house. So that's like career, all that kind of stuff. And then where's yours at? Where do you have Venus or Pisces?
Pisces, it's in my 7th house.
So that's
my North Node's in my 7th house, so that's all like relationships and like marriages and like.
Well, relationships any kind. It doesn't necessarily.
No, but it, like 7th house deals with like partnerships and relationships and marriage and how things go relationship wise. So
and I just watched a video.
I'm not trying to have anything. Right? I don't.
That's the thing too.
I'm closed.
Like that's the other thing too. There's this aspect of like surrendering anyway. Yeah. So if you're in that moment of surrender, this eclipse will be a lot easier for. I mean, you can have like apprehension.
Like I have been, yeah. Like I have been in that energy of surrender, but at the same time I have like anxiety kind of coming up. But my anxiety has nothing to do with like partnerships or like anything like that. It's all dealing with me like, I don't know, just finding where I'm meant to be and like what I'm meant to be doing that's actually going to like fully be supporting my life and supporting what I'm doing in my life and supporting my family and just all the things. And my whole strife, I guess, with all of it is I'm sick of doing everything on my own and sick of like striving and then get hitting with like 20,000 roadblocks and I'm like, what the fuck am I doing wrong? Like I feel like I'm doing all the things but then again, that's dealing with surrender energy and just knowing that you don't have to do it all on your own. Like you can like leave that space for the universe to step in and kind of align things, and like alignment takes time. But for me, I don't like things taking time. I want it to kind of be an instant thing. Like I was even having, like I said, I always bring up that reading I had with your friend, but like literally she even like she didn't like scold me, but she was like, you know, like I feel like from you're always wanting like instant like things coming through, but like you kind of have to give that space for things to kind of build up, especially if it's like a huge, massive sort of change coming in. Like the universe needs all that time to like really manifest it and bring it into your life. You can't just have it instantly. And I'm always in that space where like it's not coming fast enough, so I'll right away get back into a mind space of like, oh yeah, patience, fuck everything, da da da, and then I right away put myself back into like, it's like I create that blockage for myself because I'm not allowing the time. But like I feel like a month is like a long enough time, but like that's obviously not. But like for me, like a month should be like.
Guys, is a month
we need
long
to like
enough
pick
time?
it up a little bit. I don't like things taking
So
forever.
let's bring this to you guys. So when you are thinking about anything in your life right now, like if you're on a spiritual path, you're following us because you have like you're a spiritualist, we'll say. What in your life is something that you notice kind of has to end? That could be like limited beliefs you have about yourself. You want to be trusting more, or like you're really focused on one thing,
Victim
but another
mentalities.
thing is like trying to show up. What in your life? I noticed. I keep bumping the table.
Oh.
For me, my entire life, I've always kind of been in the space that I need to have a partnership. But also when I get in a partnership, I'm the only one doing anything. So.
Or you just find that's like not fulfilling
that's
or
not a fair
providing you like what you need.
That's not a fair statement. Like the other people are doing things, but it's not.
It's not fulfilling for you. It's
Yeah,
not like
it's not
providing
what I
what you
need.
actually need.
And then I end up in this like really wounded masculine, which is what I'm not supposed to be, and I need to be in my feminine and blah blah blah. And so I feel like that's kind of been a theme my whole life. Plus, I was told you are to get married, you are to have babies, blah blah blah. That's like your job in life.
Oh.
And I've never really wanted to like have that be my.
Oh, do you mean just like as a woman?
Yeah.
Okay, I thought you meant like you got a reading. They were like, your only
Oh,
purpose is
no.
to like be a mom and get married. I'm like, ugh.
No. No.
I don't see that. For
No,
you.
like as a woman, that's
Yeah, okay.
that's like my upbringing or whatever.
Yes,
That's what
okay.
you're supposed to be.
Yeah.
And so I feel like I have healed a lot of those things, especially like understanding my worth. I go back and forth with, well, I know my worth because I've been doing it the whole time,
Yeah.
but I've been doing it by myself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And not that I'm not grateful for my experiences, because I am grateful for them. They got me where I need to be. But
Right.
there's also this sense of like, I want to do what fills me up in terms of like money. And that's has a lot to do with this particular eclipse, because I am a very spiritual person.
Same.
Like
Obviously,
super, like super spiritual, and not in the way where like it's a hobby for me.
It's a life.
It's a life.
It's your lifestyle.
It's
who you
my
are.
lifestyle. If you ever walked into my house, like everything has an intentional space. Everything I do is 80% spiritual, because there's a big part of me that's like a giant squirrel. But and a lot of my life has a reflection of my dream state. So it's very purposeful. And so I feel like that's where I'm trying to go, is to like push myself in that direction. And then I'm very much in that same energy of like, well, why do you give me these freaking gifts if I can't do anything with them? Or if I am not helping people? Because I don't ever see anybody saying, oh, that may be an exaggeration. I do have people that come to me and say, thank you for helping with this. I do understand.
But not
that.
the amount that you feel like you're like needing or something. Yeah.
Yeah. So like in my mind, I'm like, I want to be able to like see that I'm helping people, or like having them say, oh, you helped me so much. I told so and so, blah blah blah. I do have a couple people who do that, where they're like, hey, I recommended you, and you have no idea of the hole that fills.
Oh, I do. I do have an idea about that. Even when you're like recommending me to people, like the things that you're doing in life, like that you're trying to strive for, to like, even like you're talking about to support you and things like that. Like when somebody is recommending you and using you as like word of mouth to like tell people about you and stuff, it does. It feels something where you're like, okay, like I'm so grateful that that I have that person, or that they recommended that, or whatever, because then it like gets you out there, and then you connect with other people that are going to realize your gifts and see who you are, and it just adds more to your purpose. Where I don't know, if you don't have that, obviously, like
so
you're
that's
back in
what
that
I'm
space.
saying. Like I feel, and that's I made a video Saturday night, because I was like, oh, whatever, in a space. But
I liked that video. That was like very vulnerable and like real, and I think it needs to be done.
I cry a lot. I'm a Cancer too. So
you have a Cancer rising. So.
There's this sense of like exactly what you just said on I don't want to be in this box where I have to do things to get myself out there that go against who I feel. So like as a spiritual person, I just want people to feel my energy and be like, oh, that's a delight.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like how you have so many people coming to your stand all the time. It's because they like your energy. They like how you feel, and that's how you get things.
Well, that's how you connect. You have to like form relationships. Like
And
you can't just be like you're not always just selling your product. You're selling yourself too, and you're selling your energy. And like I don't know, my products, like I really do dump a lot of love and like intention into my products. Like it might not be like a spiritual business, but it's still like spiritual in a way where it's helping heal people. And it's like like it's not just cleaning, but like my skincare products and stuff. Like I've had so many people coming up and be like, you know, your products are really making such a difference in my skin and in my health and everything else for me. So like it's not just like a beauty thing. Like people are genuinely like benefiting from it, and then it makes me feel like what I'm doing is like worthwhile.
That's the ticket right there. It's like I want to know.
It's not just because I enjoy it, but like it's helping people.
And I feel like that's what my
like even like I don't know, the other part of myself, like I really do feel like I need to start getting into like that life coaching. Like I really need to take those courses and get certified in that, because like that's where my real gifts lie. I feel like in helping people in that aspect. Like I create and I'm very creative and I do all this stuff and I put all my energy into these things, but like at the same time, like so many people seek me out just from like my guidance and my advice and things, and like I do it for free. I need to start like being compensated for that, and I feel like that's my true calling. If there's a true calling I have that's not going to drain my energy, it's genuinely like
that's very
just being a voice of guidance for like so many people, because I do that continuously, just on a daily basis normally. Like the amount of people that are constantly reaching out like, I really need you to help me through this, or you're the only person I trust to talk to this about. You're the only person I know can like tell me what I need in this situation, da da da. And I've been really like slacking on taking those courses just so I can get certified. But like at the same time, I'm in my headspace where I'm like, okay, say I get that certification, like how do I even go about like starting something where people are gonna like want to come to me? Like who do I get hired by for that? How do I even start opening something up like that? And then that makes me want to stop. Because I'm like, oh, I'm not good enough for that. Like, that's where I get right away.
We are.
I know, but me, myself, I'm like, oh, nobody's going to want to come to me and pay me for it. They just want me to do it for free because, I don't know, that's what I run into all the time. And then it's going to be another, like, roadblock. That's what ends up stopping me, but I don't know. Eventually.
You'll get there. I think that's very Seven Health energy.
It absolutely is, because I don't know. You're helping people.
You're helping people in a loving way.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the energy of this eclipse, and it's just gonna. And think about Pisces is also its endings. Mm-hmm. And I mean, go look at your own birth chart. Like look at your natal chart and see where all that is for you. I think also Saturn is in the 4th house too with this eclipse.
I think it is too.
I think so. And so, like, there's this energy of what are the rules? And when we're going to be having it so many times, so for 3 years of the same energy, you really get a taste of it. And then the nodes on top of that, it's like pushing you to let go of so many limited beliefs, because that's what we're brought up to have. Yeah. Especially if you live in America. So there's all this conform, be a consumer, that's all you are kind of energy. And America is headed for like a huge wake-up call. I don't know how many of you have ever heard anybody talk about America is currently experiencing its
like
return.
Pluto return? Yeah. Isn't that what it is?
Yeah. It's Pluto return. So anytime there's a return for America, we experience some kind of war.
Revolution.
Yeah, or revolution. Let's see. I'm trying to remember how this went because I wrote it down and then I think the last time we experienced this eclipse energy, we had the Revolutionary War, we had a Civil War. This is for the chart. What is the name of that chart? I don't want to look it up on my phone. I just watched it.
I mean, you can. Like, nobody's going to care.
I'm going to look it up on my phone.
I just think it's interesting because for like years, for the past like couple years, people have been like channeling things about 2025 being very like transformative, especially for America. And I don't know how many like astro talk people I have on here listening to this, but if you guys remember when I was talking numerology and stuff, like we're currently in an 8 year right now, but we're moving into a 9 year. So next year's a 9 year. 9 is also all about endings. It's all about things kind of like transitioning, things that aren't working anymore being cut out, things that you need to stand up for and stick up for, like coming about. So like people are gonna be like more wanting to be in their power, and like there's just gonna be massive endings and transitionings taking place, and that aligns right away with the numerology of like the year for next year. And I think 2025 itself, and like we were talking about with
this is a Uranus conjunction is what I was looking up.
Coming in and like with Saturn going into being in those placements as well, like there's just so much changing with 2025, and I think it's just so interesting that for years now people have been like channeling how massive the year 2025 is going to be for America alone. I'm curious to see what's taking place. And like in my previous podcast for like years I was like, oh, I'm like really nervous about 2025 and like that year 9 that's coming up, because I feel like it's going to be like there's going to be some big things taking place that are going to kind of shake things up, and people are going to be like having to live in a whole different way, especially like after 2025. Like I feel like there's just going to be massive shifts in the way that we live here in America and the way we're viewing life here in America and what we really feel we're deserving of, especially once we get into that one energy and everything else.
Exactly.
Like it's just going to be new births of things like after this 9
There's the
year.
So this is a Uranus conjunction. So anytime Uranus is involved in anything, it's like rah! Like if you feel like it has a chokehold on you, and then if you do your work, you get this lovely surprise.
Yeah. Yeah.
But also, when you're dealing with Pisces, it's all this energy, and then it's going to go into this Aries energy where it's like you've opened the door and it's you don't know what's going to be happening, but you made the step forward into something new.
Isn't Chiron going to be in Aries too or something like that? Is that for next year, or was that for, what did you send me? It was like that chart.
It was
that for this year, just for the eclipse this year, or is that like next year's?
That's
like
next year's.
Okay, yeah, and Aries Chiron's going to be in Aries at 22 degrees.
Oh wait, let me see.
See?
Wait.
See what? This is what you already showed me. But look.
Oh, this is for the
like what is this for the eclipse? Yeah, but like I just think that's like, because 22 is like a massive like degree of like karmic sort of things. So and it's in Aries. So
I wonder how that's gonna go.
That's what I'm like wondering. Like that's kind of like a heavy energy. That's a heavy energy.
So all this fiery.
Yeah,
angst.
Things getting people like ready to take charge and
just
make
look at
changes.
your own communities. Like how many people are in your own specific community that are like angsty?
A lot. There's a lot of people that are fed up and sick of the way things are, and we're tired of like working in a system that isn't working for anybody except for the rich people. Like,
and in other countries, Canada, they've stopped paying their bills. They've stopped paying their mortgages, their credit cards. There's so many defaults, and they don't care. They just, as a human being, they want better.
There's even people here, like, since 2020 that have, like, not really been paying taxes and stuff like that, and the IRS is so backed up with everything that took place in 2020 that they're not even really, like,
you don't
going after the people that like haven't been paying their taxes because they don't have the time or the resources or the people to even do it. So there's like even people here in America that are like, oh, I owe that. Well, guess what? Food's more important right now, and shelter is more important right now. Like I don't have the extra $1,000 or so that you want for me in my back taxes for like half the shit we're fucking paying for is like
you don't
ridiculous anyway.
Legally have to pay taxes.
That's what I'm saying. Like it's a fucking
look it up anyway. Look it up. It's for entertainment purposes only.
Make that disclaimer right now.
It's for entertainment purposes only. So there's that too. And I think in France, they like will riot.
Oh, they're always like having some sort of revolution.
And then in Germany, they had over the summer, they had all the farmers like revolting because they want better. Mm-hmm. Like that's what's coming to America. If you do not have your brain wrapped around that, and it's not even fear-based, and even if you're one of these people who are like me, where I'm like, well, that's not the reality that I'm going into a reality where, you know, I have all the things that I need,
prosperity,
blah blah blah, I live in a whatever, everything will come to me as I need it. I still have the understanding that in order to maintain that mindset,
there still needs to be a revolution.
that being revolutionary is trusting in yourself. That is the biggest revolt you can ever have in this world, is to trust in yourself more than, whatever.
The fear that comes up for you.
Yeah. So
That's my battle.
I think that, and it took me a long time to get there, so.
I know, that's why you're so, like, I don't know. Like, your ability to trust and stuff is inspiring to me because, like, I need to hear you talk about it all the time. I'm not kidding. Like, I need constant, every day, like, hearing about it. Otherwise, I'll get stuck in this space of, like, I have a really bad, like, victim mentality sort of problem at times. And my mind, I need to rewire my mind a lot of the time. And sometimes I can, but, like, I need to hear you talking about, like, your own trust in the universe and everything else, so that it, like, really inspires me to be like, okay, yeah, like, actually that is, like, a truth, and I can feel that, and I can rewire myself to be in that space, because otherwise I just get, I sink into, like, a pit. And
It's from my trauma-filled childhood.
mine is still from my trauma-filled childhood, but, like, I can't get out of it because mine's fucking heavy. Like, mine's very heavy.
So I think that, if you're thinking about growing a garden, you should be definitely doing that.
Self-sustainability, guys. That's what we should be focused on.
And, I wanted to talk about this, too. It sort of relates to, like, what's going to be happening in 2025, but also it's all this energy of, if you're in a place where you know who you are, I mean, pretty much you have an idea of who you are, you know you're going to accept or have, these roller coasters of life, but you stand in your authority enough that you naturally obtain the people that your soul needs, not that you need, that your soul needs. So, like, I think I've given you this, said this to you before, like, I've always been, like, really super interested in, like, people who make soap. I like soap. I've always tried to use natural bar soap, like, my whole life. And now I have somebody in my life who does that for me. I'm the same way about, like, astrology. I'm really obsessed with astrology because it's not telling you, like, what the future is. It's
it's like a truth, and it's like a map. It's like a guidance system.
And it's math.
It is math. Math is always true, honestly.
So I need that in my life. But the things that, like, light me up are people that are coming into my life. So once you start on this path of, like, of being a spiritual person, and not as, like, a hobby, but as, like, who you are, you will get these people that you need in your life. Not
Absolutely.
Because you're, like, I don't know how to describe it. Not just because, I want somebody who's fun, blah, blah, blah.
No, but you're attracting it, and you're on that, you're finally allowing yourself, because you're being authentic with yourself finally, and you're allowing yourself to be a vibrational match for the people that are going to come in and align with your soul. Like, if you're not living in alignment with yourself and you're not living in your authenticity, there's no way in hell that you're going to be able to attract the things and the people that you need for your soul's growth. Like, you just can't. Like, everything, like we had talked about, I think, last episode, everything's like an energy. Everything's a vibration. And if you're not, like, living authentically, you're not going to be able to have those things. Like, you're still going to be in, like, weird stuck spaces because you're not matching the vibration you need to match to attract and call in your soul family and the people that you need. Like,
and when you do have these people, like, your life is better for it. Like,
absolutely.
You will stop seeing, like, struggling relationships.
Peace will start coming in. You're going to have things that just flow, and it's not, I don't know, you're not stuck. You don't feel stuck or stagnant with certain people in your life. You're just like, oh my God, this fits so well, and it's like a puzzle piece almost. Like, this person feels like something that aligns with me, and it's good for me. It's not just a lesson, and it's not just some chaos-filled thing that you're dealing with because you're still stuck in spaces of enjoying chaos rather than finding the peace of your soul and your actual path of where you need to be, like, good things for yourself. So
that's why I'm not worried about, like, food, because I know I'm gonna meet somebody who is an herbalist and, like, who can garden, who can teach me these things, but also have an abundance of it. It's just something that I know will happen for me. And not in the sense like, I'm going to be using them, but more like they can teach me and I can teach them something about, like, how, whatever it is that they need that I have. That kind of sense, you know what I mean? So I think that people should absolutely be prepared to be more self-reliant.
Absolutely. We have to be right now,
and
honestly.
Resilient.
I think that's a big thing that people need to be tapping into is, like, being self-reliant and stop relying on the government so much, stop relying on outside things to take care of you, because like that's probably gonna not be a sustainable thing here within the next couple years. Like you're probably gonna have to be more like, even look right now in the food industry, like all these people getting like, what is it, not botulism, but like what's everybody getting right now from the food we're eating?
Isn't it like a E. coli something around?
I don't remember.
I
thought it started with a B. But basically, everybody's getting sick from, like, food that you're just buying in the grocery stores and stuff. Like, nothing's safe. And it's going to be 10 times safer if you just grow it yourself and you know where it's coming from and you know it's safe and it's not, like, sprayed with a bunch of shit that's, like, bad for you. Like, It's just... Being self-sustainable is probably what we should all be working towards.
I just watched this video about Eastern medicine. They said, if you want to be doing better for yourself, there's always 3 things that you should have. One thing was, like, a product that he was endorsing, so I don't care about that. So there's 2 things. It's to always have ginger in your house, and the other one was, oh crap, it was something else. It'll come to me after, but mostly ginger, and now I can't remember because I'm trying to talk about it. But I always have had ginger. It's so good for your stomach.
It's so good. For your
I think
stomach.
it was honey.
Okay, yeah. Even infuse the 2.
Yeah, and also like you can bind it to anything. It's good for any kind of medicine, really.
Yeah. Ginger's very, very healing, honestly.
But yeah, I think that's the world we're going into, is that you need to be, and also like taking these things that we've learned before. That's a lot what this eclipse is also saying.
Find wisdom.
Is like, find your own personal wisdom, not the wisdom that everybody's telling you. Look, this is what's happening. No, you find your own.
Actually just came up in a reading I did for myself last night. That was like a message for me. Like applying the wisdom that I've been gathering
and make it work for you.
Making it work for me and not looking so much outside of things, but really just all the culmination of things that I've been like learning and growing through the past however many years. Like it's time to like apply that and live through that.
It's hard sometimes though. It's way hard.
Absolutely difficult. Yeah.
Especially when you're like, your outside reflectors are like, oh look,
yeah,
this is how it still is. That's what I was saying. Oh, so this morning I was getting ready to come over here to do the podcast, and I was like, listen, universe, because I was listening to a lady talk about how this particular eclipse is soulmate connection, like has a lot to do romantically with relationships.
I don't listen to anything like that. Like I immediately scroll past that shit. I'm not.
Well,
It's more than that. Let's not just focus on fucking soulmates.
I was going to the bathroom, and the phone was on the bed, so I had to listen. So here I am, like, yeah, you keep saying that all the time, and I'm choosing to focus on work, so stop telling me that all of these things are going to be happening for me. And it's not because I have a block. I have a Pisces Libra. I want to be enveloped.
A Pisces Libra?
A Pisces Venus. Yeah. Sorry. So, like, I am the most romantical person alive. And I have a Libra moon, so I'm very much into partnerships. So I'm in here thinking to myself, stop talking about it. I'm finally choosing to have a stable environment in terms of like work.
In relationship with yourself. I feel like for a Libra moon, that's the lesson. Not to look for partnerships to bring balance into your life, but to look for yourself, to bring the balance that you need so that when you do attract a partnership in, it actually meets the criteria that you need. And you're not looking outside of yourself for that fulfillment. But especially Libra moons, because Libra moons are, in my experience, not like any offense, but a lot of Libra moons are people pleasers, and they don't really like value themselves. They're constantly looking outside of themselves for whatever fulfillment they need, but they're not doing that work until you learn that lesson where you're like, okay, like I actually, me is the main thing, and then
I feel like they spiritually bypass like their own emotions.
They're like,
always. Oh, I feel
they will easily like say yes to things they don't want to say yes to, and continue to be in situations that they know they don't want to be in, but they don't want to like have the drama of anything outside of it. So they're like, well, I'll just stay here until you're forced out of it or whatever. Like
that's why I'm divorced, like twice.
Yeah, but now you're like in a space finally where you're choosing yourself, and that's the lesson of a Libra
moon. And that's
moon.
What I was like saying to myself.
And for me with my Aquarius moon, like I need to get out of the energy of being like, I don't want anyone. I'm just like self-independent. Like I need to let people in. I'm still not really learning that lesson. I'm very much like, I don't know, fuck relationships is kind of how I feel. I'll be fine being alone for the rest of my life, but that's not what I
That's what I said. I'm like, I just am finally saying, no, I'm way okay with being by myself.
I've always been okay by being by myself, though. My problem is like letting people in.
Yeah. I think that there's an aspect of like choosing one thing really to focus on right now. And for me personally, it's like my work.
Yeah. That is definitely what your focus needs to be right now. Like your stability within your purpose and like where you need to be, and
that's a big reason like I'm not married anymore, was because that's what I was stressing.
Well, that person was also like very draining.
Stability. I need to be able to, I don't want to be the only one having to rely on myself all the time, but I also want to know that if I have to,
you can do it.
I can do it.
And it's not going to be like detrimental to you.
So, this is not your normal, Rays of Sunshine podcast. It's like...
No, this is like a real podcast.
Yeah. It's like a real feelings that you should be experiencing, or at least have that awareness in your fields that, oh, I need to be letting go of this. And I think that people think of letting go or like whatever is such a negative thing.
Well, because it just feels like you're giving up. But a lot of time it's not really like giving up on things, but it's letting go of like expectations and letting go of control and letting go of things of that aspect, so you can actually just be in a state of flow.
It's
because
so
that's
hard.
where you need to be. I know it's what I struggle with. It's my North Node path is all about surrendering and letting go, and I don't like doing that. Like as a Virgo sun, even like I like to know and have control over a lot of the things in my life. I like to know where things are going, even if it's just like a snippet of information. I want to at least know the smallest detail, so I'm like, okay, yeah, that's fine, that's safe, but like that's not really what you can have all the time. Like you kind of need to just flow. Yeah, I want to know.
You're like 10 miles ahead.
Like I need to know. Yeah, I'm always 10 miles ahead. I'm always 15 steps ahead of everyone and everything else, because I'm constantly plotting and like yeah. And even if I'm like, oh, if that plan doesn't work out, at least I have like 12 different backup plans to like fall into place. But like you can't always, that's not reality. You literally cannot do that, especially when the universe is more in control than anything else or anyone else. You kind of just have to learn how to enter that state of flow. And again, trust. And
it's
trust
so hard. Is so hard.
Especially when you aren't even having like outside validation of like anything to like confirm that trust. You know what I mean? And then you just feel like you're holding faith and hope leads to disappointment 90% of the time. At least for me, it does. For me, it does.
The look I gave you?
Yes, that's why I was like,
I just gave her a look. So in 2020, in that summer, is that when I moved here? No, I moved here in 2021.
It's 21, I think, yeah.
I moved here, and then I had to handle some things, so I moved back. But in 2021, all of my cards and in all of my dreams, that fucking word was always there. Trust.
Oh,
you need to trust. And literally, trusting is so hard. Especially when your entire life you were told, oh, I promised to do this. And then that doesn't happen.
And then you're let down and let down. That's the thing I cry about the most. Is like, out of frustration, is like, yes, being guided to trust and have faith. Like, I cry about that all the time because I hate it. Like, it seems like the most, I don't know. It just doesn't seem like a good thing for me. I'm like, you're not giving me anything. Like, you're giving me nothing, but that's part of the test, is still trusting even when you don't have anything to rely on. And I'm so used to being let down by, like, literally everything and everyone in my life that I'm just like, I don't know. I think that's why I've dealt with a lot of, what's it called? Not just independence, but, like, I can't think of the word right now that I'm, like, looking for. Never mind.
Like letdowns or...
No. Hyper independence. That's why I'm like super hyper independent all the time, because like I've just been let down by like the majority of people in my life anymore. Yeah. But I feel like I have been coming to people that aren't really letting me down in life within the past couple of years, and that's like fine. And it is like starting to prove that trust and that attracting things does bring things in, but it just might not always be in the timing that you're like wanting it. But
that's what I was gonna say. It's like for 2021. I feel like that was a big theme in my life, and I was like, no, I'm not doing that. I need to be able to control my own environment because it's literally me. And then I have like this overwhelming layer of, it's not just you. You have a child, blah, 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 who cannot do anything for themselves. So like, it's like hyper, it's just, you have to. the universe was like, no, I promise, you just have to keep trusting. And then somewhere in all of that, where I like stopped focusing on the trusting all the time, I just started, I don't even know that I was just doing it, or I just gave up trying to do it, or I just got tired of saying, yeah, I'm going to trust.
You just start doing it.
I
Because
just
you just
started
like
doing it.
Like, just involuntarily you start doing it because you get exhausted with, like, trying to prove to yourself that you're going to trust, where you're just like, I have nothing else to do. Like, the universe will beat the shit out of you until you have no other choice but to surrender and just, like, let things be what they are, because you can't do anything about it anymore. At least that's what's been happening for me within the past year or so, where I'm like, I can only do what I can do.
Exactly.
And it's just going to have to bring me wherever I'm going to be, like, brought. Like,
and that is a form of trust. Even
absolutely.
though it's so annoying to think of it like that, but that's
you're just doing it, like, automatically anymore. You're just,
it just becomes a part of you.
Yeah.
And then it'll just slowly creep its way into all aspects of your life. So, don't give up. Just say to yourself, I'm doing all the things. If I'm supposed to be doing something else, show me that.
Yeah.
And if it doesn't start showing you that thing, just keep
then you're
doing.
probably doing what you're supposed to be doing.
And be mad, because it's
just be mad. Yeah.
It's okay to be mad. I always tell everybody I'm like the angriest person you'd know, but
you would never know.
You would never know.
It's like internal anger. It's just frustration for me. It's like internal frustration.
It's rage.
Yes, internal rage.
That's why I play video games. That's why I play video games, so I can take a mace to your face.
I don't know. I need to go, like, boxing or something. Like, I need something where I can physically, like, beat the shit out of something.
And kickboxing.
Probably not. I can't kick very high, but, like, I would love to just beat the shit out of something.
Maybe
and
boxing
I actually really want to go to one of those, like, you know what we should do sometime? Go to a rage room.
Oh, absolutely.
I would love to just break a bunch of glasses, smash it.
Do you ever see those videos of these girls who are like...
It already feels good thinking about that. Like,
they're at the rage room, and then they're midway through the rage room, and then they're
start
sitting on the
crying.
floor. Crying.
All the emotional release, yeah.
They're like, oh.
Yeah,
I think that would feel so good.
I think so too. Like, even thinking about it, I'm like, oh my god, I need that. Like, I need that. Maybe that's what we can do for my birthday. We can go to a rage room and just... We should make our own rage room so we don't have to pay for it. We can just, like, bash the shit.
My son's like, Mom, what if I buy you a bat and a TV? You could just beat the crap out of it.
Yeah.
And then I think last Samhain, I saw somebody take a couple of pumpkins, and they're like, oh, we're going to bring pumpkins into the driveway, and they just took a bat.
Yeah.
And
smash
like
it. Some nice big thick ones.
Like,
yeah.
I bet that would feel so good.
That already, like,
that's
imagining it just makes me feel so happy right now.
That's our advice to you. Take a pumpkin. Please be safe about it, and do what you will with it. Shoot it in one of those cannons.
Yeah.
You ever watch those guys? On a lighter note, we're only going to be experiencing this eclipse season, this year's, for, a couple more weeks.
Yeah.
And then it'll be over. But pay attention to what's in your surroundings. And, like, really think about how you can be more self-reliant with community. Yeah. Because that's important. If you have to, You have to have
I know it sounds like opposites, but, like, all together. Working together to be self-reliant is, like, what the goal should be.
It ties in with, like, when you can be your authentic self, you meet people who make a community with you, and you individually shine as your wonderful self, and you can be self-reliant with other people who are self-reliant. Mm-hmm. And you make this wonderful divine web of wonderfulness. Yeah. So keep shining on. That's how other people who are looking for you...
That's how they find you. You have to shine your light, yeah.
So,
be seen.
That's what I'm
like
saying.
The hard thing too, like letting yourself be seen in an authentic way.
It's hard.
But that's part of it too.
I don't think we're going to talk about anything else other than all of that.
I feel like this took up like a decent amount of time.
I feel like it's enough for people to like think about.
To digest and like
it's a lot to digest. It's a lot to digest, especially if you've never really thought about your life in that kind of way.
Yeah.
There's a difference between...
There's a lot of people that run on like autopilot, so like they're not really even tapping into like their internal life forces to begin with. So like I do. I think that people need to be reminded and
when
to
you
sit with things for a little bit.
Tap into yourself, the world becomes your playground.
Yeah.
Even though you're hit with so many roadblocks, it really is.
Yeah.
When you start tapping into things that like light you up, you heal your inner child, and you allow yourself to see the lens of a responsible, an adult, like a childlike adult who's mature, who has tools to play.
Well, I want to say too, like, since you said this is like your playground, where you're finally tapping into like that authentic sort of energy. A lot of the time too, like this world around us, like once you're really tapping into like your true essence and like your true energy, and you're trying to raise your vibration and be like in a more, I don't know, balanced space within yourself, I guess. The world around you, like the way this world is designed to, like energetically even, the reason you come up with all those blockages, like when you're trying to do that, is because like this energy here is just so heavy and dense, and it's kind of designed to keep you in that space where like you feel like you're hopeless, and you can't really be like pursuing the things that are like true to your soul, and you can't be like existing in that energy. So like when you are like consciously trying to rise and like be in a different energetic state than what you've been in, you will be hit with so many blockages and things that want to keep you down, where you're like, oh, obviously like that's not meant for me and I can't do that. I just gotta go back to those things that were making me miserable, so that you can stay within that like lower vibration, because like this place is like alive in its own sort of way, and like that's the goal for it here. Like it wants to keep you kind of trapped. So like if anything, if you're being hit with all those like road blockages and stuff, I feel like that should give you more oomph to like try even harder and like push past them, to really just kind of like prove to the world around you, at least if you're not trying to prove it to yourself, that like you're not going to be stuck in these spaces, and you really are going to make it happen, and you're going to be where you need to be. Because that's even something that, like you're just saying right now, it's like giving me the power. I'm like, no, like I'm not going to be like doing all those things, but like that should be your motivation, I guess, because like the world around you wants to keep you just in that space, because it's how we make this, like, I don't want to say the word, like I don't want to say matrix, but like how we make this like world work around us is like us being like in denser vibrations.
The whole entire material plane.
That's what I'm saying. Like it keeps you in like a denser vibration, where like when you're trying to send past that and trying to step into your truth, you're going to be hit with so many things that make you want to give up on yourself, and make you want to like go back to things that you deem comfortable, even though they're like draining your energy and harming you and all these things. But like that should be your motivation, again, to just fight past them and keep staying on the path. And then you do, like after a while, you'll start to see things really come in that like are matching up to the vibration you're putting out, because like you're not gonna, that world around you is not going to have that power over you anymore, and you're going to start seeing the gifts and the rewards for like sustaining and holding that higher vibration within yourself. So you're not going to be,
that's all I wanted to talk
you see all those
about
things.
quick.
Yeah,
It fits in. So
yeah.
like next year, when the United States is feeling all of its rise and falls globally, like every epoch has to have a golden age of this and then a fall of that. Like think about the Roman Empire. They had the rise of the Roman
Even
Empire.
Atlantis, like there was a rise.
All
and
of
there
that.
was a fall.
Like you just pick a time period. There's a rise and there's a fall. So individually, when you start to choose yourself, you'll have a rise. You'll have a plateau. Mm-hmm. You'll have a fall. And the fall is, you can fill in the blank with, I'm having a dark night of the soul, I'm having an initiation, I'm having, a break. I don't like to say breakdown. You're having a breakthrough,
yeah.
But a death and rebirth. It's just, language is weird when we add energy to it, but that's how it's going to be for America. Mm-hmm. We're going to come together, or we're not. Or you're going to come together with your group and you will rise individually and collectively. Like, that's just how it's going to be, because that's the nature of this planet. Mm-hmm. Because it's so dense. In order to, I hate this word, in order to move up the ladder of life, you have to be able to get rid of the density that's holding you down. So I feel like that's exactly what you said. Mm-hmm. Just keep doing what you need to. And you're going to have roadblocks. You can't grow without them.
Yeah.
So there you have it, guys. Let us know what you think about this.
Yeah. please like interact with us and let us know like how you feel about this, or like your own things that you've been going through, or how you feel, you know, this next year is going to be playing out, you know, just going along with what you've been experiencing so far towards the end of this year. And I don't know, just
if you're
let us know what's going on.
astrology based, let us know what you feel like is showing up for you in your chart. You know, what are some things that maybe you need help with and you just want somebody to listen to you? That's another part about being a spiritual person, is being able to be a safe space for somebody else, but then allowing others to be a safe space for you. You can't be the only one who's just a safe space. You have to have people in your life who are a safe space for you. And to just not be vulnerable with anybody, use your discernment. So I feel like it's important.
But yeah, I think that's all we have for you guys today. We do have something coming up in like, I think it's this weekend, right?
Yeah, this weekend.
This weekend we're doing like a different podcast with one of our listeners and friends. So we're going to be probably maybe advertising that like on our page too. Maybe putting some little clips from that up on our thing just to kind of like push you guys in the right direction if you guys want to listen to that. It's going to be a little different than what we do here, but it should be a good time. But we'll be back again maybe one more time this month, but probably maybe in October we'll have another one, because we usually like to do like twice a month. But
let us know.
Yeah, let us know what you want to hear, what you think would be interesting for us to talk about. If not, we're just going to keep going about the things we've been talking about. They might be really random things, it might be more themed things, but yeah, let us know. Don't be shy. Reach out and say hey.
We're on all the platforms. Follow us on TikTok, follow us on YouTube. We notice a lot more people like us on YouTube.
Yeah.
You can talk there. There's a button for that.
You can comment, you can say anything.
Yeah.
But we appreciate you guys for listening, and we hope that you guys have an amazing rest of your week. And we will talk to you guys again here soon.
Bye. We love you.
Love you guys. Bye.